Okay, this has been on my mind. And one of the reasons is because I saw something online that shocked me. And I want to talk about, because what I saw, I'm still trying to just absorb what I saw this video. And the issue is on the vagina. So, it's funny, like people are always so comfortable to talk about a penis, but like someone mentioned vagina and everybody gets nervous and quiet and like, oh no, I don't want to talk about my vagina. And I just don't get it. It's just a vagina. What is the big deal? Now it has become a big deal because of some of the guys out here who feel the need to discriminate against certain types of vaginas. And they even date certain types of women because they assume by the outside and her skin complexion or her race or this, her vagina is going to look like this. And it must taste good. It must look good. Now, whether it tastes good and it look good is up to the person that's trying it out. So to just assume that it's going to be what you like, that's just ridiculous. To judge from the outside. But at the same time, what's the big deal anyway? Like, it's just a vagina. Like, our women have different vaginas. No vagina is alike. There's so many. I saw this chart online. It was like, what, 35 different versions of interpretations of the vagina, all these different drawings. And no, I don't have the URL for you guys who are watching this video. But I did watch this video, and it's gotten so serious with how women are feeling about their vagina. Guys are making them feel about it that they're getting, surgery on their labia, getting it trimmed and getting all kind of nips and tucks done to it. And I'll just say that me personally, it's not, I'm not being biased. For me, I'm comfortable with my vagina. And yes, it's not because I have been told that I have a pretty one, which I have been told. But here's the issue here. A vagina being beautiful is all up to the seer, the person is looking at it. But I really think guys need to stop looking at it like that. Like, if you really liked her and you had feelings for her, and you're not just looking just to stroke your own ego, why even sit there and concern yourself of how pretty the vagina is? And why tear a woman down about it? Why talk behind her back about it? If it doesn't smell, which is also up to interpretation, you don't know whether it smells or not. It might smell to your nose. You might not like her particular scent. But then again, every woman's scent is different. Why even compare it? And most of the time, the vagina doesn't have a scent unless it's going through changes, like her time in a month or something like that. And what she'd wear and what she wash with. This is why women got to educate themselves on their own condition of their own vagina. That's a whole nother video. I might do one for that too. I went on a full-fledged hunting spree research to get to know my vagina so I can have control over it. But that's a whole nother story. This video is just being a vagina. What's the big deal? This is for the guys. You know, if her labia is hanging out and dangling out, and I won't even want to say hanging. That's just the way it grew. So what? That's hers. That's her style. Look at it like that's her own style of her vagina. Her own vagina personality. Okay, that's how I like to call it. And women have to stop wondering whether the man's going to like it. Okay? And just because it looks a certain way doesn't mean it's going to feel better. Doesn't mean it's going to smell better. So that's another thing. A guy will see a vagina that he thinks is pretty, and he's like, "Oh, I'm putting my face in that." You don't know where that vagina been. You don't even know what it smells like. Did you check it out? Did you turn the lights on and look at it? No, you didn't. You just kind of seen it in the shadows and said, "Oh, it looks good. I'm going in." See, and this is how the little diseases get spreaded around, because people just looking at how beautiful guys are looking at how, I'm not just saying women carrying all the diseases, because men do too, but this is how that's happening as well, because men, some men, I'm not saying all men, so don't try to say I say all men. Some men look at it as, it's beautiful, it must be healthy, it must be right. Just leave women alone about the whole beautiful vagina kick. Like, seriously. I know that some men think this and just don't share that, and just keep having sex with the woman. But if you're not attracted to it and you think it's ugly, move on. Because your negative thoughts will come out in your actions no matter what. If you're thinking negative about her in any way, you shouldn't be dealing with her. Okay? If you're thinking, "Ugh, I don't like that vagina." Oh, gosh. Let her go. Don't drag that into you dating her and how you're treating her, because sometimes how someone feels about you sexually can determine how they treat you as well. It's just a vagina. I just don't know what the big deal is. Seriously. I think that at some point, like, a man has to say, "This is hers, and I don't want to change it." And just accept your woman for who she is and not what she got downstairs. I mean, this video I watched, these women were getting clips, snips, tucks, you name it, to their vagina. I mean, and yes, I'm not gonna lie. My whole life I always thought all vaginas looked the same, or at least was shaped the same. I thought they're all shaped the same. They're all shaped like mine. That's what I thought. But I got a wake-up call when I did my research. When I watched that video about vagina surgery, people getting their vagina operated on to make it look better. And including making it feel better, tighter, which is ridiculous. Because you don't know if it's tight or loose. It could be the size of the man. It's not just you. I don't know why women blame ourselves. Some of us tend to blame ourselves first. I'm just not good enough for this man. Who says he's good enough for you? Okay? I'm sick of women, us, because I used to do it too. Maybe I changed this about me. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe this and that. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you're a nice woman, a good woman, and you're selfless, and you're kind, and you're giving, and you're independent, and got self-respect, and you're clean, you don't have to change anything about you. Really, you don't. I'm just shocked to see. I had this one ex-boyfriend, and he said to me, what I like about you? One of the things, and he's kind of blushed. He said, "You have the prettiest vagina I ever saw." And I said, "What does that got to do with how you feel about me?" Like, that kind of started making me see he was shallow. And after that, the relationship went downhill. I started to, it was a red flag. Because he never really told me I was beautiful. But he made it known that he thought my vagina was beautiful. And I could have been like, "Wow, that's so good to hear." But it's good to hear somebody tell me that I'm beautiful. And that they care about who I am. That's all that really mattered. But he didn't do that. And I started to see he was shallow. And I'm not going to lie, like, my entire life, I have been told in my relationships, "You have a beautiful vagina." As they call it, a designer. So, it's bogus. Would they label it as a designer vagina? As there's a such thing as a designer vagina. I saw that in Google and I said, "What? There's a classification for a beautiful vagina, and it's called a designer vagina. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Yet, when I saw pictures of the different vaginas that wasn't under designer vagina, even I as a woman, and I'm a straight woman, I was like, wow, that's a beautiful vagina. I saw a couple vaginas on there that was, one looked like a flower was blooming out of it. I'm like, that wasn't under the classification of a designer vagina. And it's crazy that there's classifications like designer vagina, and I don't know. I've read so many different ones. It's ridiculous. Beef vagina. What? The lips is hanging so far out that it's beefy as beef? That doesn't make any sense. Okay? But what cracks me up is these men that are standing around saying these things about vagina and writing these articles, and the world is classifying these vaginas like that. Those same people is probably sitting around with a penis that looks like it's been through a battle. you know, that probably have stroked their penis to destruction, so it looks horrible. Whereas obviously that they beat it up, and they're sitting around classifying vaginas. I mean, I will never get over what I read about vaginas, how shallow people are about their view of them. You know, guys make an excuse. Some guys will make an excuse and say, I'm not touching that vagina because it's ugly. That doesn't mean it's going to feel ugly. It doesn't mean it's going to smell bad. Even if you thought it was ugly, I'm so sorry. My sinuses are acting up. I feel like I'm about to sneeze, but I'm not going to sneeze on camera. It's raining here in Pennsylvania. I won't get my city out. It's not safe. But anyway, the bottom line is this. I used to think that, like I said, that all vaginas was the same. When I found out that there are so many different looking vaginas, I was like, women really are beautiful. Because they are such an individual. Individually beautiful. Individually. Even in a group, they're individually beautiful. They got their own beauty. Because none of us is built the same in no kind of way. Not even the vagina. But the funny thing is, there's so many women. And when in my research, I saw there was quite a lot of like white women who were insecure about it. Like, this is in my research. They were insecure. They were like, my vagina is hanging out real low. The level, the inner skin is hanging out, and it's the hair is coarse, or just something. Here's another thing. I'm so sick and tired of people thinking because a sister is black, a black woman, that our vagina has coarse hair, or kinky hair like on our head, and it's going to be the same color of our skin. That's not true. And guys who've not been with black women had a little surprise coming for them, okay? Because it's not the same, okay? Let's get this straight. There's some that is all dark. There's some that is all brown. There's some that are brown with purple. There's some that is brown with pink. And there's some that's brown with strawberry pink. And there's some with, like, brown and dark brown and chocolate and mixed. You never know what you're going to get when you go downstairs. And to assume because you're looking at the person, you know what you're getting, it's not true. I mean, in all honesty, this is no lie. I saw this one picture when I was doing my research. And my studies was, learning about the insecurities that women have, and especially about the insecurities of the vagina, and educating myself about my own. And through it, I get to see pictures in my research. And I saw this one picture. This was a white girl. And her vagina was brown. And it looked like cocoa. And it looked like a carnation flower. totally open flower, but it was exactly designed like a carnation with cocoa, with like brown, dark brown on the outside and cocoa in the inner rose. And I was like shocked to see someone with a vagina that looked identical to a cocoa colored carnation. And this was a pale white girl. So you just never know what you're going to get. And this was no porn. These was educating resources, researches I've done. And um and yet, you just never know. So my point is this: it's just a vagina. Some guys, if you're a guy out there and you're being critical of them and you're judging them and all of that on what they look like, and if you think you know what you're going to get by looking at the woman, you're in for a surprise. You know, to assume because a girl's light skin, she's going to have, a brown skin vagina, a light brown skin vagina, wrong. She might not. Just because a sister is brown skin like me with coarser afro hair doesn't mean that's what I have downstairs. Because let me tell you, me personally, my boyfriends always get a nice surprise. And they like the surprise. But you can't judge a book by its cover. Especially if you just assume what their genetic makeup is going to be downstairs. I remember this one time I dated this little guy. He was short, like maybe 5'4". I mean, he was short. But when I got to that part downstairs, I mean, he had an enormous penis, and it was one tone, and it was beautiful. I mean, to be honest, it was. You know, although, only reason why I thought it was beautiful at the time because I was young, and at the time, I didn't know there was a penis that would look one solid color almost. And at the time I was living the myths. I was believing that short guys, come on, they're so short. How could they even be working with anything? So again, that busted my bubble. That busted my bubble. So and he was light brown skin, but yet his penis was like black chocolate. So you just never know what you're going to see. But when it comes to a woman vagina, guys who are being critical, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. And don't be trying to make the woman put perfume down there and put perfume in her baths and stuff up in there and go dush. Because little do you know you're harming her by having her do that. Okay? And if something doesn't smell right, if it smells fishy or the smells too loud and fishy, it's not that she got an STD. Most of the time, that's not even the case, believe it or not, with that. Most of the time is that she had a reaction to something, which gave her a little quiet infection that she probably don't even know about. And if it's your woman, tell her very nicely, very privately. And then she'll bring it up to her gynecologist. And the problem will be solved in a few days. But don't sit up there and assume anything about a woman's vagina. Because it's a mystery. Like flowers. All flowers are a mystery. You don't know when they're going to bloom. You don't know how long they're going to live. You don't know if that flower is going to be a beautiful flower. It might not look as beautiful next to other flowers. Just know that each flower is beautiful in their own way and has its own style and personality. Just like the vagina. Now, yes, you can have your own personal taste. But do you really want to go out there and keep trying different vaginas till you get the vagina that you want? Don't you think that's kind of shallow? Why don't you try to look for the woman you want? And I'm not saying all men, so don't go put comments on here attacking me. I'm not saying all men are judging vaginas negatively. I'm saying that there are a lot of men that I know, and that I know there's many more probably out there, who are anxious to see the vagina, the woman who they're dating or with, just so that they can also see if it's pretty enough for them to give oral sex to. It's not about it being pretty enough. It's about it being clean and healthy enough for you. And just because It doesn't have to taste, because it could be what a woman eat. If she eats cinnamon or spicy stuff, yes, that can come out in her vagina and it might not taste so good. That's why women need to put more fruit in their diets. Like cherries and stuff. I know personally that shows up in your vagina, as far as taste, cherries. But anyway, that was a little tip for the women watching it. Cherries and pineapples. So what I'm saying is this, look for a good woman and the vagina will be good to you. This is for those guys that tend to be a little bit overly critical, because it's starting to make women get operation on their vaginas. And the vagina is such a sensitive, I can't even say it, sensitive thing, that there's no way that the surgery the women are getting to make their vaginas look nice, and you guys won't even know that they're getting it done. You'll think that they were born with that type of vagina. And first of all, you cannot tell what your vagina is going to be when you're young. Your body's still growing, so that's out the door too. But there's women getting all kind of surgeries done to make their vagina look nice. And some of them have to get it done because the labias that inner skin hangs so low that it starts to hurt as it's rubbing against jeans or underwear, and it hurts them. But they get these surgeries done, and from the video I watched, this woman was bleeding real bad from the surgery. She was in pain, beyond pain, after the surgery. She could just sit there with her legs open on her bed. All she could do was sit there with her legs open on her bed and just try to calm her vagina pain down, even though she was on medication. So it makes me sad to see there's young women being driven to that. And some have to get it done because their inner skin is hanging too low, they're hurting, so they have no choice. I'm just thanking God that I have come to terms and I am not insecure and I'm okay with my vagina. Women, we got to work hard to just stop criticizing our vagina so bad and just keep up with our checkups. Build a very close relationship with your vagina so that you know when something's not right. You know instantly. I have such a close relationship with my vagina that I will know instantly if something is not right with my vagina. I'll ask 10,000 questions to my doctor when I go in there. I'll ask about the smell, this and this and that, down to the nitty gritty. And I'm going to do a video for women who want to know more about taking care of their vagina. I've done my research. I've asked my questions from my gynos and all. And guys, do your research too. So you're not getting your woman or wife in trouble by telling her to do something with her vagina that she shouldn't be doing. And she don't know no better because she might be young, and that's not right. I read a guy's post online. He said, why is my girlfriend's vagina stinky? Somebody please help me. First of all, I was tempted to write him a letter, and tell him, well, okay, if she ain't got STD and you two are committed, it's something you two are doing in bed that's probably causing her trouble. And I was going to walk him through the steps and the investigation and all that and how to track it. But people don't like getting that kind of advice from strangers and they feel insecure. So I didn't. But I'll be doing a video for women on getting to know your vagina, building a relationship with it. But guys, give the women a break. If you're putting them through the ringer about it, give them a break. Okay? Show some love to your woman's vagina. Okay? And if you're dating someone too, don't do that. That's a bad way to get off the bad start. You're starting bad, So I just had to share this. I hope it was educational in some way.